like this, don't come in a box score. Keenan with the Kel, just give me the rock more. Weather off the glass, nothing but the net. I'ma get you set, pick and roll, we can go with the whole four. Dick Vitale, look at diaper dandy. NCAA with the great handy. Props to God, the real MVP. What else does this have call from a three? EA Sports when I tell you get paid.
Check out the Resident Sons fan in the timeline.
Hey man, y'all already know it is your boy Kamron, ripping the Popular Demand podcast, and I'm ripping the Phoenix Suns Western 2021 Western Conference champions. Got my jacket on for good luck. Going on game one tonight, and we taking the series.
That's what's so been a long time coming, man.
Man, look, I've been a Suns fan since I would say since I was 8. I'm trying to remember what year it was, because the year I became a Suns fan was the year that I know it was the year that we were in the Western. It was either the Western Conference Finals or the semis when we played Kobe that year. And I think we were up like 3-2 in that series, and Kobe just went berserk in like game 6 and 7 and just put us out. At that point in my life, I began to hate Kobe, and I fell in love with the Suns because like I initially started liking them. My favorite color was orange when I was a kid. We were rocking the orange jerseys in a playoff game, and I was like, dang, those jerseys are cold. Then I saw Steve Nash, and I was like, oh, this is my team. Like, this is my boy. Like, dribbling around. Like, who is this short white dude dribbling around all these 7-foot dudes out here? So, definitely, that's when I became a Suns fan. We've been bad for a while, and finally, back at the top of the mountain, got my boy CP3. He came over, he said, reason I came is that light-skinned dude over there. The light-skinned dude been giving them buckets. Chris Paul's been giving them buckets. But yeah, man, long time coming for sure.
Yeah, I used to like the Suns when I was a kid growing up too. I had a Murray poster on my wall back in the day. I used to love playing with him and Steve on
yeah.
Like,
yeah, pick and roll was lethal.
So I used to like all the boys. Steve, Amari, Barbosa was my guy. Matrix.
Yeah.
Back when I was first learning how to hoop, I had the little broken jump shot just like him. No arch at all.
But the thing is, all that matters is when it counted. So
Yes, sir. So how soon when that Chris Paul trade came through, how did you feel? What you saying in the group chat before that came?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. After I saw what he did with OKC last season, when they were projected to finish like last in the conference with him, and he took them all the way. I think it was the 5th or the 6th seed last year. Oh, I actually think it may have been like the 4th seed. I don't know, because I think they had like quote unquote home court in the bubble. But like I think they were one of the top 4 seeds last year. And I remember specifically when the trade came through, because I also have a best friend that's a Suns fan. And he was like, I don't know, man. We gave up a lot for Chris Paul, that massive contract, and we lost Rubio, and we lost Kelly Oubre. He was a big Oubre dude. So he was like, we gave up a lot. I was like, bro, do you not see what he just did in OKC? This man is going to come. We just went 8-0 in the bubble. We were barely outside the playoffs. He's going to come, and we're going to be at least the top 4 seed. I was like, because think about it. You look at Booker, you look at Aiden. Both of those players are better than anybody. Maybe you could argue Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but both of those players are better, in my opinion, than anybody that was on Thunder last year. So I was like, we're easily a top 4 seed. And then the season started playing out, and then I was like, man, we like really good. And then we started actually battling for the 1 seed, and I was like, dang, like I didn't see all this coming. But yeah, when I saw the trade go through, I was like, we got us a chance right now to be a really good team.
I was about to make the playoffs in the bubble if Memphis, if Portland would have lost one of them last year.
Man, let me tell you, it's crazy. I was watching. So we had won all of our games, and the only game that mattered was the Brooklyn Nets versus the Trailblazers. That was like the last game before the playoffs, and it was like Trailblazers lose here, Suns get to go to the play-in game. We play the Grizzlies. They were the 8 seed. They won a downward spiral. Jaren Jackson had gotten hurt. And then we were like, we couldn't lose at that point. So at that point, I was like, all right, all Caris LeVert got to do was go out here, have a good game like he had been having in the bubble, and Damian Lillard, just kind of cool off a little bit. Dame did not cool off, and Caris LeVert had a game. He had a chance to hit a game-winning shot. All they needed was a 2 to get to overtime. But I guess since they knew like we already had our playoff spot locked up, he took a three and he was like, we either winning or we going home. You know, we either winning or we losing this game. We still got in the playoffs. He took a three. If I were a Brooklyn Nets fan, I would have been happy. But I mean, it didn't matter. But since I was a Suns fan, I was super mad at Karis LeVert. But as of right now, you know, I was chilling about it. I was kind of sad we didn't make it, but you know.
So I had y'all as a dark horse this season.
Yeah.
I thought was LA was going to beat y'all. But once y'all beat them, also y'all was on y'all way then.
And see, I'm gonna go back to my friend. He has definitely had like a pessimistic out view on us. Like we've been let down for so long to the point where now, like whenever anything goes right, we're basically waiting on something to go wrong. But like he was like, I was telling him, I was like, bro, if we make it past the Lakers in the first round, it's nobody else that we could beat in the Western Conference. And honestly, unless the Nets come out of the East, it's nobody we can't beat in the East either. I'm like, we could really win a ring this year. Once AD went down and we actually beat the Lakers, like those 3 straight games where we beat the Lakers, I was like, it's nothing stopping us from winning a ring at this point. And he was like, I don't know, man. Yeah. I was like, all right, watch. And we went through, swept the MVP, even though, you know, they were down Jamal Murray, but, you know, swept the MVP. And then got the Clippers. They pulled some Clipper stuff, tried to come back from an 0-2 deficit, but, you know, still we got this. So yeah, I mean, I've been saying this ever since the first round that if we could get past the Lakers, we could at least make it to the finals. But I mean, we're here now, and I think we got we're the favorite and you know betting odds or whatever. But I think we got a good chance of winning. You know, that's just my opinion. Yeah.
I thought y'all in the Suns were going back to 7 games series just off the strength of Jokic having a few crazy games, but it's like during that whole series, every time they made a run, either Book or Chris Paul would go hit like 5 straight middies.
Yeah.
In a deficit go for like,
but
12 in like 2 minutes.
Bro, and it's so crazy. Like people, I think last year in the bubble, people started realizing just how good Booker was, but like people don't realize how skilled of a player that man is. It's like it's not many players in the NBA today. I would say maybe KD. I mean, maybe his teammate Chris Paul, but like it's very few players that got a better mid-range pull-up than he has in today's NBA. And like you know how a lot of times a lot of people criticize LeBron and people criticize like, you know, players like I guess Dwight back in his prime, but like a lot of different players they got criticized because in the clutch they didn't have like a go-to shot. You can look at Booker right now and he got a go-to shot for the rest of his career because he can hit that mid-range pull-up. So like, yeah, like I mean, we got something cooking in Phoenix. I don't know how long this stretch can last. I don't know, you know, how things would be different if injuries weren't the thing, but no, injuries are part of the game. So I don't really take anything away from our run. But yeah, I mean that we're looking super lethal right now. I hadn't been this happy and this excited as a Suns fan in a long time, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm happy. I'll go on record to say Booker might have like the top 5 deepest like bag in the league for
really? And then like
KD, Kyrie,
yeah,
him. Maybe you could argue like
I put like Tatum in there, maybe.
Yeah,
Tatum definitely got like, especially when he dropped that. I think it was the 50 in the play-in game, and then I think he had 50 again against the Nets in the first round. I definitely say he got a nice bag, and maybe we could throw like Dame in there, you know, players like that. But like, and like you said, in terms of like actually being able to like break a defender down and get their own shot, Booker's definitely in that higher echelon without a doubt.
I was watching that Lakers series. They was like throwing a house at dude like every possession. That man just hit like a couple of crossovers, and fade into a bucket.
Yeah, and it's like, and you know, a lot of people, I don't personally, I don't like it, but a lot of people have been making the comparison. Oh, Booker can be the next Kobe. You heard Stephen A. Smith coming out and saying that. I don't really like the comparison now because there's a lot to put on him so early on in his career. I get it, but the reason I get why people are making that comparison is because the degree of difficulty of the shots that he's making is like next level. Like you don't see guys being able to do that very often, like where you can turn basically any shot that could possibly be a bad shot into a shot you don't mind them taking. Like Steph Curry, like not I'm not saying he got Steph Curry range or nothing like that, but like Steve Kerr go out there and let Steph Curry take any shot because no shot is a bad shot when Steph take it. Like Booker can pull up for 3 on fast break. Booker like 4 people back and he's the only one back on the Suns, or like something like that, or a mid range pull up with 24 seconds or 22 seconds left on the shot clock. Like Booker can do that because he's hit them before, so you don't mind him taking them.
I think he like kind of underrated, like athletically at that. It's like
Yeah.
going downhill or so. He pretty hard to stop too. Then, especially getting on the
Without a
fast
doubt.
break, or just like maybe you running. He kept like the defense kind of off guard, going to the paint, and he can finish over top of everything. So it's like you just gotta hope for off like just trying to get aggressive with him, like Pat Bev doing. Just crowd
Yeah. Pat Bev definitely. Pat Bev definitely presented some problems for him, and I mean honestly, the thing with Pat Bev is, for one, he's like, I mean, we give him a lot of credit for being a good defender, and rightfully so. But another thing too is in the playoffs they let you get away with a lot more than they would in the regular season. So this perfect for Pat Bev to play that physical style of defense that he likes to play. So, I mean, yeah, he's a good defender, but in a lot of other situations he would have gotten away with. He probably would have been fouled out before then. And then another thing is too, I mean, you just got to give it to him when a guy's. And then not only was Pat Bev, really disrupting my offense, but they were going at him a lot on defense too. Like every time they were looking for the switch on the pick and roll to get Morris in the post with Booker. So definitely, I would say, I mean, Pat Bev did what we had to do, but hey, we got the win, so I don't mind.
I feel you. I'm super impressed with Aiden too.
Yeah. 1 second. I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, no, you sure?
I was getting a phone call. That's my bad.
Oh yeah, I feel. But no, I'm super impressed with Aiden too. Cause
Yeah.
like a lot of the 7-footers today, they shooters. So it's kind of rare, like today, to see a 7-footer play every possession like he a 7-footer. Like every trip is either he's setting the screen and then he's straight rolling to the basket, catching the hoop, taking a mismatch on the block, or if he just got big man straight up, he's sealing them under the post for easy buckets, and that's all. Yeah. And he'll need wait. And the longest jumper he'll take might be like a pop out 15-foot or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I don't know if you ever watch. I don't know if you ever actually watch like the Popular Demand podcast. I don't know if you ever watch, but Cord has been banging this drum like ever since we drafted Aiden with the number 1 pick. Everybody's like, "Oh man, the Suns should have taken Trey. Oh man, the Suns should have taken Luka." But Cord is like, big men take time to develop in the NBA, and I'm always, because there were times where I even were like, man, I wish we had gotten Luka. I wish we had gotten Trey. And I mean, obviously, team would have been built differently had we gotten those guys. But like, I'm at a point now where I'm completely satisfied, and I'm actually even overly joyful, I guess is the word, with the Aiden pick, because like he fits. It's rare that you find big men that can fit today's NBA as well as he can. And like this guy is like good defender in the paint, was able to hold up with Jokic. I mean, hold up whatever you consider holding up with Jokic, even though Jokic was still dropping. Yeah, I'm about to say, even though Jokic was still dropping like 40 on him. But like, he was holding up with Jokic. I mean, and a lot of times you see in the playoffs, especially, big men become unplayable. And they become to the point where you can't keep them on the floor if they're not able to shoot. This guy, because he's he knows that he's 7'1", he knows that he's got a height advantage on these guys. He still is able to play. He still is able to play with his back to the basket and still able to get in the paint, get a shot up quickly. I mean, he's shooting. I want to say close to 70% for the playoffs, and averaging a double. And this is also his first playoffs, just like it is Booker. So super proud of Aiden. Super proud of our team thus far. Like we've just really come far. And also, I don't know if you were gonna bring this up next, but the addition of Jay Crowder to this team has been major. Has been major.
That's my God. Jay Crowder bring that toughness that you need. And every so
Yeah,
often he good to pop up for like 5, 6 threes when you don't expect it
exactly. Yeah,
either.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, pretty much every time Jay Crowder touches the ball, he either is gonna take the shot. He's gonna take some very bad shots. He just gonna hit some of them too. So when you get frustrated with him, he hits one. He be like, man, I don't know, like
Every time. That's the
yeah,
experience though. That
yeah, yeah.
man might break like 3 open middies. The next thing you know, cash like a contested three.
That's what I'm saying.
Every time you need him. And what's the other dude name? Mattel Bridges too.
Yeah, Mikal Bridges. And you know what? I saw some of this coming last season with Bridges. A lot of people. I think is this Bridges' second? No, this
That's
isn't
like his
Bridges' second.
third year, I think.
Yeah, this is his third year. But yeah, a lot of people his rookie year. I mean, we did some decent drafting, but right before we drafted Bridges, we had drafted players like right before we had drafted Bridges, we had drafted players like what's the guy's name? Alex Lynn. Then we drafted Marquise Chris, and both of those like top 5 picks. So, we coming off of that and we draft Bridges and I'm like, man, I don't know. This kid, like he looks like he fits today's NBA. Oh, we also drafted Josh Jackson. And so I'm thinking, is Mikal Bridges just gonna be another Josh Jackson for us? Just never really lives up to his potential. But no, I mean, Bridges, I think is for us exactly what we expected him to be when we drafted him. Like, just a player who he's just a player who can defend 1 through 4, I would say, and can also, just a perfect 3 and D guy, and also, if necessary, can get a bucket. But really, you don't want him. You don't want him to have to do that. But yeah, perfect 3 and D player. And to go along with that, we drafted Cam Johnson 2 years ago, who has been like lights out for us. Like he's been one of our best shooters all season and throughout this playoff run too. So, and I think he was actually hurt at the end of our Clipper series. Hopefully he can come back,
Cam was
but
what a lot of people said was like a reach too at the time.
yeah. Well, and I mean that's the thing too. I actually had this discussion with my friend. Like, what's he worth the lottery pick that we took him with? And I mean, granted, I would say it's going to take a little bit more time to say, but like for right now, there aren't a lot of guys who got drafted over him who you would say. I mean, there aren't a lot of guys who got drafted under him that you would say, man, I'd rather have that kid. I think Cam Johnson was very drafted. Like in the area he was drafted for in a good number, I would say. And I mean, even though he was a lottery pick, he was like 13th or 14th, like very end of the lottery. Exactly, yeah. So just as long as you can come in, I feel like as long as you can come in and play a role, we got guys. We got our superstar. Well, I won't say he's a superstar yet, but we got our star in Booker. We got our other star in Aiden, and then we got Chris Paul. Like, as long as you can come in and play a role, I'm satisfied with your performance.
And Monty came in and put everything together perfectly too.
Exactly.
New Orleans, the Pelicans should be watching this whole playoff, shaking their head that they let Monty go over. Some front office politics people telling me about.
Something like, and then it was so crazy. I want to say dude got let go because I know he like deal with like some like tragic loss of his
wife,
like he did. His wife. Yeah, I think his wife like passed in a car accident. But it's crazy because like I want to say he got fired like the same year that it happened, or it was something like that. But like
either the same year or the year after one.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, it's interesting how the coaching carousel works in the NBA because like you see guys like Nate McMillan, Monty Williams, Tyronn Lue, like these guys who have shown that they are great coaches. You see them get fired just because the teams don't have any competency around them. Like Pelicans weren't really putting the team together for him to succeed with.
And then you see to the playoffs that last year.
Exactly. You see the Pacers weren't putting anything together for Nate McMillan to succeed with. You see the Cavs were like, oh yeah, we're gonna get rid of Tyronn Lue because he's the last of the LeBron regime. Like, but like you see these dudes get fired, but as soon as they get around some players who can actually do some decent stuff, look what they do. Make adjustments. They're able to be able to be good in these high pressure situations. And it's really crazy to me. And I especially love to see like black coaches getting these opportunities as well.
I gotta tell you, I gotta walk back my take on Tyronn Lue. Like back when he was with the Cavs, I was the one of the guys who just thought it was Bron, and Kyrie and everything. But I gotta give it to him. My favorite thing about Lue was my two favorite things. One, if you're not playing well at anything, you will not play unless you Paul or Kawhi. Those are the only two players that guarantee minutes at any point in the playoffs. Yeah. And my second thing is he kind of like an offensive genius. So as soon as he find like one small hole in the
he gonna exploit it.
He gonna abuse the life out of it
until you make an adjustment. Yep.
Like and series, he realized he could take Gobert out the paint and went small, and they was just chaining them boys to death.
And it's so crazy to see. Like, I really don't understand. Like I understand a lot of these like black coaches not getting opportunity, and a lot of coaches in general not getting opportunity. But you got guys like Budenholzer, you got guys like Quinn Snyder, you got guys like Doc Rivers. And I'm saying, it's not just black coaches that don't do this, but like you got these guys who go out there and literally do not know how to make adjustments. Like, and it's crazy. Like, you are you're a sports of a multi-billion-dollar franchise, and you can't go out there and make adjustments. Like, you see your player isn't doing right. You see that the team is exploiting this different. You see this, and you're still not making adjustments. And it just truly shows the difference between competency and incompetency at their position. Like, there is no reason the Jazz should have been able to. Well, I mean, I obviously you had Kawhi doing what he was doing, but like going up 2-0 and you let the Clippers come back, like I think that's kind of unacceptable for the Jazz. And they're gonna have some
other game after going up 2-0.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna definitely take some adjustments to be made there, and it's gonna be tough because they gave Rudy Gobert that max contract, and I don't know if they're gonna be able. Like, I don't know if they want to move it or if they'll be able to move it. But kind of like Clint Capella was with the Rockets, like those guys may be great. Those guys may be great for you during the regular season defensively and all this stuff. But if they become unplayable in the playoffs, like what's the point of having them on the floor? What's the point of having them on your team?
And a lot of coaches is like stubborn, like Doc and Budenholzer specifically. Like, they stubborn. They don't want to.
Exactly.
It's like they see the adjustment. Like Doc saw Ben Simmons targeted who lost them like 2 straight games because he couldn't make his free throws. Like games they lost by like 3-4 points that if he just made 3 of the 10 free throws he took, they would have won.
Yeah.
It's like those guys see that, and instead of just saying, forget their ego and just pulling them out the game for maybe a couple minutes, they just let it rock. Or like Budenholzer, who see the Bucks, who will watch Giannis score like 8 straight points in the paint.
Exactly.
And then sit there the next 5 minutes and watch Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton like dribble the air out the ball, won't say nothing.
Yeah,
like, you get paid to coach and to tell guys to stop doing that stupid stuff. It's like, y'all just sit there and watch it.
And that's what I'm saying. And I do get it. Like, as an NBA coach, it's a fine line between like telling your superstars you can't do this, because honestly, in the NBA today, and I guess in most sports today, but especially in the NBA, the player has more power than the star player has more power than the head coach has. So like, if the coach makes the player unhappy, and the coach and the player says they want the coach out, the coach is probably going to be out, because it's much easier to replace a coach than it is a star player. So I mean, I definitely get the hesitancy to make some decisions, but like with a team like the 76ers or the Bucks, like Giannis is not one of those superstars to demand, oh yeah, I need this dude fired. And Ben Simmons, he don't even have a right to demand something like that. Like, so to take some of these dudes out of the game, or say, I need you to make these adjustments, and if they don't go out there and do it, take them out the game. Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand that, some of that stuff. Exactly. Same thing with Rudy Gobert and the Jazz.
Exactly. Especially dudes who already got paid, and the coach with already the freshest vintage, when you got the leash. Like, come on, son.
Exactly.
Let's switch to the Eastern Conference for a little bit. So, how you feel about the Bucks run?
You know what? I knew I knew once they got past the Brooklyn Nets that they had a good chance of making it to the finals. I was actually super shocked when the Hawks gave them the series that they did give them, because I thought I knew they were going to be a little fatigued after going 7 games with the Nets. I definitely do feel like a lot of what they did has been like a long time coming. It's like, all right, Giannis is finally, starting to play like that 2-time MVP. Chris Middleton is finally starting to be a little bit more consistent. Then the addition of Drew Holiday just, kind of rounded their team off. And then also the addition of PJ Tucker being able to defend positions 1 through 5. And then you got, Brook Lopez finally playing like he's getting paid to play. But yeah, I mean, it's been super impressive. It's been super impressive to watch them do what they've done. You hate to see Giannis go down with the injury that he did go down with. Luckily, they still made it to the finals. I mean, I'm not gonna say luckily, because I didn't really care who came out the East, because I thought we were gonna be favored regardless. But I will say it was good that you hate to see a player go down with an injury like that. Hopefully, I saw that he got upgraded to questionable tonight. Hopefully, the Bucks aren't rushing him back, because that's not gonna do anything for that. That's not gonna do anything for him, but raise his risk of getting injured again. But yeah, I mean, it's been super impressive, I would say.
And I really hate that Giannis got hurt, because like prior to the injury, I feel like he was finally starting to like really put it all together.
Yeah.
And really learn to play the style that's most effective for him. Like he was finally cutting out on the stupid threes or the random long jumpers, and just straight every possession he was just to the paint.
Right.
Finally. Like the last 2 games of the Brooklyn series, he was just straight to the paint every possession. After Blake Griffin kind of had him locked up at first, then the rest of the season he just started like torching him. And it was just good to see it finally all click for him.
Yeah, and it was good to see it click for them. And I mean, you could a lot of the same arguments could be made for them too. Like obviously they were going. Well, honestly, I thought the Heat would give them a better series than they did in the first round. They swept the Heat, but obviously the next series was going to be tough. And like I said, a lot of things that could be said for them could go for us too, with the injuries, affecting their team a lot. But yeah, I mean, if Kyrie and James Harden are healthy in that second round, maybe we're having a different discussion. And if Trae Young stays completely healthy, maybe we're having a different discussion as well. Because you could obviously tell in that last game 6 he wasn't himself. But I mean, you could make the same argument for them. But like I'm gonna continue to say this, and something I've always said: injuries are a part of the game. It's how it goes. If injuries weren't going on, maybe LeBron has more rings. Maybe the Warriors have more rings. It's you really just can't say what would happen. You can't live in a world of what ifs. You can only live in what you got.
Games still gotta be played, so
exactly.
Ain't like every time somebody get hurt, the conclusion is the game automatically forfeit for the next 2 or 3. So you still gotta get on the court and play. So that's what it is.
Facts.
But us, a lot of young guys throughout this whole playoff run that I gained like a lot of respect for. I like Trey a lot more now. I already liked Ja, but now I'm like really so. Donovan Mitchell, Luka. Luka's Luka. I said 8.
Yeah, Luka's Luka.
Let's see, what's the kid name on the Clippers? Terrence Mann.
Oh yeah, that was a big shock when he had that crazy game against the Jazz. Like that was wild. I was like, Terrence Mann, who is this kid? Like, and Terrence Mann, like I was telling Jordan this, like Terrence Mann literally looks like a 14-year-old. Like the kid has no facial hair, no mustache, nothing, and like he literally looks like a kid out there.
Reggie Jackson secured his next big deal.
I hope. All right, man. Somebody gonna have to drop the bag for Reggie Jackson, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he definitely deserves it. I got to give it to him. Like honestly, the Clippers showed just how ridiculously deep of a team they are this postseason. Like you got Kawhi down, you got Serge Ibaka down, you got Zubac down, and they still able to like keep every game in the series. I think I saw something where a stat where before we beat them in game 6, they hadn't lost a game by double digits all postseason. Like it's really crazy. But to get back to your point, yeah, a lot of these young guys, like something I've heard a lot of people say is, what are we gonna do when LeBron retires? What are we gonna do when KD gets old and when Steph is gone and all this stuff? And I'm like, the league is in good hands, y'all. Like we got some real studs coming up. Like between Luka, we got Zion if he can ever manage to stay healthy and get to the playoffs, and they get him a decent team around him. You got Booker, Trae Young, John Morant, Donovan Mitchell, like all these guys I'm naming, like under 25 and under. Like it's really crazy. Like to think how good these guys are, how young they are. Like the crop of talent is only getting better.
Definitely. I like that they all like kind of the small markets and like getting the back popping too. So, like we saw the ratings as the highest they've been since what they said 02 this year. So these markets who probably really ain't cared about basketball because they teams been bad for like the last decade or so. It's now finally starting to tune in again. Like the Pistons just got the #1 pick, and they got some solid players that's already there too. Like they do,
yeah.
Seiko, Sadiq Bey, that
that
rookie they just drafted.
What's his name?
Killian,
I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Killian Hayes, yeah.
So now you add a #1 pick to that. So now it's a whole city of people over there who probably ain't watched the NBA in God knows how long. And now they about to like tune back in if they get it right.
Yeah. So. That's facts. And another, like you said, that's facts. And another thing to go with that is you got like you said, these teams in these small markets. The only thing that kind of troubles me and that kind of worries me is the fact that I hope that some of these teams and some of these young kids aren't ruined by incompetent coaching and incompetent front offices. Because I mean, honestly, if before we got Monty Williams last season, before we got James Jones as our general manager, Booker's career, I was really scared that Booker was gonna force a trade. Like after he had signed that big deal, I was like, all right, he got his money now. Booker finna force a trade up out of here. And in my mind, as a Suns fan, I couldn't even blame him because hadn't put any talent around him, hadn't really drafted well, hadn't done anything to make sure that he was happy. So I mean, I definitely get it, and I hope that some of these situations, like I hope the Pelicans can figure it out around Zion. I hope that the Pistons don't get Cade Cunningham or whoever they draft with the #1 pick, and then completely waste the first 5 or 6 years of his career. And then I hope the Mavericks can keep building around Luka, because after a while, Luka's gonna stop. He's gonna get tired of dropping 35 and getting in these first round exits. He's gonna get sick of it. So, it is as long as they can continue to have competent front office people running and have competent people, running these franchises and coaching these teams, this league could get a whole lot more interesting.
You already see the Pelicans kind of like faltering a little bit with Zion too.
Yep.
So I hope they get that together. So like I said, with him and Luka, you don't want people to tell them, or you don't want them to keep hearing about how they the best of the best in their age range, and then they look over and they see Trae Young and Devin Booker and all these other guys. They probably think they're better than making like deep playoff runs really while they sitting at home on the sofa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the same things that maybe like Carmelo experienced early on in his career. Like some of the really good players of the last generation experience, like a lot of the things they couldn't get over the hump because there wasn't enough talent around them. Whereas you had guys like LeBron who was like carrying the franchise on his back. You had guys like Kobe who always had good management and good coaching around him. Just carrying that stuff on their back. And it was like, you don't want these guys who are young and promising and have all this talent to feel like they have to force their way to a big market or to a different team just because they can't get the competency around them. And I do think we're headed in a good direction. I think that a lot of these teams now feel the pressure from these young players to think that, all right, we gotta get this right, or we know we're gonna lose our superstar.
Exactly. They know they can't just sit on it no more.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like the Warriors, they don't got a young talent, but they gotta, really get to it this summer.
They
If they
do.
want Steph to really retire,
Mm-hmm.
especially after they kind of like they took the wrong player in Wiseman, when Melo was right there.
Yeah, that was
They just missed the playoffs because couldn't nobody but Steph get a bucket. While
Mm-hmm.
Draymond out there refusing to shoot the ball for God knows what.
That man, I don't know. As bad as he was shooting, I don't even blame him, bro. Like,
And now they just been gifted 2 lottery picks, and then you got your all
hey,
timer with 2 lottery picks. So now it's like you got another chance to right the wrong that you did last season. So
facts.
we're gonna see how long this play out though. But we're in a good space, I think. League and
Yeah, I definitely feel like we're in a good place with basketball right now. Like, I genuinely think like I don't know. Well, we'll see with the Brooklyn Nets. We'll see if they can ever like stay healthy or whatever. But like we'll see moving forward. I don't think we're gonna have a dynastic team unless somebody builds another super team anytime soon. Like, because it's so much talent dispersed across the entire NBA to the point where you don't necessarily have a team that's like overwhelmingly better than any other team. And the team that you did have that would have been like the Brooklyn Nets just couldn't stay healthy.
Just trying to stay healthy. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So
Yep.
you got to roll with it. So like I said, we talk about the young players that impress. There was a couple of players who on contract years that didn't really impress me. But,
Okay.
so, in your opinion, would you pay John Collins if you were Atlanta?
So I'm gonna say this. It is if John Collins is asking for max money, the thing is, I don't know if anybody in the league is gonna give him max money. Yeah. But I mean, I would definitely say John Collins was an important part of that team. I would say that he's kind of like one of behind Trey. Obviously, he's probably like I would say like the heart and soul of the team in terms of the morale and if they go as he goes type thing. But yeah, I mean, John Collins is definitely going to demand a bag after this playoff run, and he had a lot to do with it because on the nights where Bogdanovich and Kevin Huerter weren't having good games, guess who was still keeping them in it? Trae Young and John Collins. So would I give him? Depends on. I would say he's probably going to demand. Oh, that's a lot of money to pay him, man. But I was thinking like maybe somewhere in the 20 to 25 million range, but I mean that's a lot of money, and you're gonna have to. The thing is, he's gonna have to commit to wanting to. He's gonna have to commit to the defensive end if he gets that, and he's also gonna have to expand his offensive game as well. But I mean, he's one. I would say you drafted him with a high draft pick. He's one of your franchise's cornerstones. I think you got to go ahead and pay him.
But they also got Cam Reddish and what's his name, RJ Hunter knocking on the door, and the rookie big man they just drafted, what's his name, on Yekker, I think it's pronounced.
Oh yeah.
So when you factor all that in, you're a little dicey.
That is true. But the thing with the center, the young center is we don't know how good he is because he looked like really didn't even play much this season. Yeah, and also, and another thing too is with that Clint Capella. With the thing is they got Clint Capella there, and they like you said the contract's gonna be rolling around soon for Clint Capella as well. And as well as he played, they're gonna want to keep him around. So like it's definitely gonna get tough, and not to mention the fact that Trae Young, they're gonna have to pay him as well.
Trae getting the bag as soon as the clock strikes midnight, they hit out the 170 is hitting the bank account.
That's a given, but it's just really crazy to think like, they definitely got some decisions to make, and I think they're gonna probably want to. Oh no, Rondo was on the team. I'm tripping. Who did they trade? Who did they trade? Rondo. Lou Will, yeah, and I don't know. They're probably gonna want to dump that Lou Will contract because I mean, though he played good for him, I think a lot of what he did could be replaced.
Absolutely. And you still got they signed Gallinari, got him for like another 2 years too. and Bogdanovich for another couple years, so they have some time to play with them.
Exactly.
But if you do like Clint Capella though, who might be the most replaceable, especially since you do got that rookie big that's like sitting on the bench waiting for a chance. So if you do
Yeah.
let Clint go, you can either just roll with the other young boy,
Yeah.
just bear through with him, or you can maybe go small for like a year or so. And start all three of the wings with Reddish, Hunter, and Kevin.
Yeah.
So they got some options. You're not really set in stone for them, so we don't see.
Yeah, definitely.
Who else can they use? So where does Philly go with Ben Simmons?
So this is the thing. This is the thing with Ben Simmons. I'm very, very hesitant. If I were the 76ers, I'm very hesitant to, just straight up give them up for nothing. But I would say that the matchup, the dual, what's the word I'm thinking of? The combo of him and Joel Embiid, we've seen it for long enough. It's not gonna work. But what the 76ers need to do, and what I think they plan to do, is he's holding out Olympics this season to work on his individual game, so he says. And also, he's supposed to be seeing a sports psychologist, all of those stuff. The 76ers need to do everything that they absolutely can to drive up his value this offseason and maybe even the start of next season. But because right now Ben Simmons has like I would say an all-time low value, and nobody's gonna really want to trade for him unless he shows some signs of improvement, or he shows some signs of at least willingness to change. And right now, I mean, a lot of people have said, I've seen some tweets, street saying that Ben Simmons peaked his rookie season. That I've seen a lot of that. So I mean, maybe we have that, but I don't know. I definitely don't think that the Hawks can just straight up continue to run it back the way that they have and think that it's gonna work, especially with a coach like Doc who isn't gonna make no adjustments. But but I would definitely say that they need to try to move him. I don't know what the market will be for him right now. Like I said, it's probably the all-time low right now. Which is crazy, when they could have gotten James Harden for him, when they could have gotten James Harden for him, but obviously Harden wasn't. I don't know if Harden was ever going to play in Philly, but I would say they need to move him. What about you? What do you think?
I would say they need to move him too, but at this point, I don't know what you move him for. Because you could have got to like a couple years ago. You asked me, I told you Simmons was the one. I thought he was really going to be like the next LeBron if he just started eventually like shooting some type of jumper, but he said
exactly.
He just said nah. So it is what it is. But I don't know what you can trade him for. I guess you could trade him for like maybe a second or third tier like player. I don't know if you get an all-star from right now.
Yeah,
but you could definitely get like a high quality starter or two, and like a handful of draft picks.
Well, and see that's the thing. When you draft a player, for one, you want to see them succeed with your team, but something you definitely don't want to see is that player. You pay that player, then they get drafted by another team. And you trade that player after you paid them, and then they go to another team and succeed. Like, what if they trade Ben Simmons this offseason and the individual work he's doing on his game actually pays off, and he goes out and has an MVP season next year? 76ers is going to be looking like dumb. They're going to be looking horrible. But, I mean, that's kind of, like you said earlier, it's kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes, because a lot of times players succeed and just can't succeed in your system. Like we've seen, I mean, like something I've experienced personally as a Suns fan, Josh Jackson didn't do shit for us. But like as soon as we traded him to Detroit or wherever he was this season, he had like a couple of, like as soon as because he was on like our G League team. But as soon as we got him to another market, he like was able to play well.
Yeah, but that's how it goes sometimes. So you kind of got to eat it.
Yeah, facts. And I mean,
What?
especially like you say, if you can get like a tier 2 starter, maybe a player who can come in and fill that shooting role that you need around Ben Simmons, I would definitely say it's worth it. But I don't want to give him up right now when his value is so low.
And one of the more like popular trades I keep seeing is trading him to Portland for CJ.
Yeah.
Which I'm not really sure how much that raises the 76ers value.
Exactly.
You kind of get like another small guard who's not really a known defender. But I think that makes Portland like marginally better. It doesn't really boost their stock like all time
right.
Either. So it's kind of like a lateral move than anything for Philly.
It is the only difference. The only reason I see that move could possibly work is maybe because like CJ McCollum is a guy who is pretty much the opposite of what Ben Simmons is. Can't defend, can get his own shot, is not afraid at all to shoot. And we saw a lot of games last year when, especially in the bubble for sure, when Dame wasn't on, or when Dame like had an off quarter or off half or something like that, CJ McCollum was picking up right behind him. If you can maybe couple CJ McCollum with like a pick or something, then I think that helps out. And I don't know how that works in for the Blazers with having Dame and Ben Simmons, because I don't think that works. But if you're just looking for a complete reboot and you're getting ready and you feel like you got to get rid of Dame and you feel like you got to get rid of CJ, then bringing in Ben Simmons, letting him be your cornerstone moving forward. He's already paid. Just build a team around him. I can see it happening. And and one more thing too, to go along with the reason I feel like it could possibly work for the 76ers is because Thibault was all defensive second team. I feel like he can kind of fill in the defensive hole that you would lose in those defensive minutes with Ben Simmons, because Thibault came off the bench.
Exactly. And Embiid one of the best defenders in the league too.
Exactly.
And he fresh out like an MVP caliber season, who probably would have won the team, get healthy.
Hadn't got injured, yeah.
Yeah. So you get Thibault to like trail the perimeter guys. And then you got Embiid back there cleaning everything up. And you get somebody like CJ who can actually go out there, like you said, get a bucket, and who's kind of the self-creator they need on that team. Then you might have to just go ahead and send that one out there if it's on the table. All right, one last team, the Knicks. Does Julius Randle get paid this summer, or would you wait another year to see if he's really that guy, especially after his playoff blunder?
That's facts. And so the thing is, you can't solely blame Julius Randle for their playoff blunder, because for one, he didn't play that well, but when a team knows that you are the sole guy on that team, they can focus in on you, especially in a playoff series where they're playing the same team over and over again, and they can focus in on, all right, we know we got to stop this guy. If we can stop him, nobody else on the team can really get their own shot. So I would say hold off on paying him until next season, because I feel like regardless of what happens this season, it's going to be hard for him to top last season. No matter what you do, it's going to be hard for him to top this season. And I would say even after this season, he doesn't deserve a max contract. Or he doesn't deserve he deserves a good amount of money, but he doesn't deserve like super max, like high level max money type money. So I would say that hold off, and if he has the same season he had this year, all right, cool. We're just gonna pay him what we were gonna pay him last year. If he has a worse season, then hey, you don't gotta pay him and you save some money. In the very off chance that he has an even better season next season and they actually do better in the playoffs, hey, you got your cornerstone potentially. So I definitely say, if I were the Knicks, I would definitely hold off. And if I'm being honest, if I'm the Knicks, I'm making every push I can to get Chris Paul this offseason. I'm trying to get Chris Paul. I'm offering him whatever he wants to come and play for me for the next 2 or 3 years, come turn my franchise around and do exactly what you did for the Thunder the year before and do what you did for the Suns last year. Because it's Chris Paul is saying that he's going to decline his player option. And obviously, I'm sure that's because he wants more long-term security. He wants to be able to make more than that. Because, I mean, I think he was due to make $45 million in this next player option. But he knows now he can get up to, I mean, honestly, the Suns, we probably going to have to pay him at least $25 million a year after this season. So I would say if I'm the Knicks, hold off, try to get Chris Paul, see if we can get Chris Paul, maybe get a few more shooters and a couple of guys who can maybe create a shot around Julius Randle. Let him go out there and do what he does. And also another leverage tool is if we can get Chris Paul and he comes and he leads us to the playoffs, then that's more leverage for us as the Knicks because now we don't have to pay you as much because you weren't the difference maker. Chris Paul was.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of guards on the market this summer, not just Chris Paul. Too. Like, they could snatch up Kyle Lowry for all we know. He might come in the guard and get it on rocking. Or they might swing the fences and go trade for Dame if he really won the out.
Yeah, if he actually demands the trade, I definitely could see that happening. So
keep the books open for another year, just in case.
Yeah. Facts. So I would definitely say hold off on making that trade. I mean, the two things that we've heard from the Knicks since the beginning of the time was 2 max slots. So just keep those two max slots open and hope that you can get, even though Julius Randle has shown that he can be a great player, hope that you can get one of those superstars that can truly change your franchise. And the thing is, the Knicks always insert themselves into this upper echelon of teams that everybody wants to go to. Nobody's taken the Knicks seriously since Carmelo in terms of wanting to go there. And one of the things that we have to realize is the best thing that the Knicks could have done for themselves as a franchise is play the way that they did this year. Turn it around, play their own style of basketball, be a good defensive team, and just have a guy who can come through and get you 25, 20, 10, and 5 a night.
Exactly. So you might have to, and you got a young player in RJ who's only his second year. He actually made some strides this season too.
Exactly.
So he can come back and make like another small leap. Find some consistency, keep improving defensively. Then you got a little bit of wiggle room to work with.
Exactly. And then you drafted Emmanuel quickly. He looked like one of the best rookies. So I mean, I would say as the Knicks, stop reaching for the pipe dream that everybody wants to pay for play in the guard and all this other stuff. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep grinding. Stay down till you come up, like they say. But just keep doing what you're doing. Stop saying that, oh yeah, we're gonna get this superstar. We're gonna get this superstar. I remember like the off season. There was one off season. Oh yeah, the last off season. They're like, yeah, we finna get KD and Kyrie. Not this past off season, but yeah, we finna get KD, Kyrie, and Zion. Like, finna have a super team, and ended up getting Julius Randle and I think Todd Gibson or something like that. Yeah. So like, yeah, definitely. Just I mean, they're building the right way, and I think they have a competent front office. Still think they need to find a way to make the owner sell that team. But yeah, if they can keep building, they got a good GM right now, got a good front office going, got some good things going, and another thing I'm always go back to, I love that they're all black. But yeah, definitely something that I am in favor of, and the way that they're building looks good now. Just keep drafting well, and if you keep drafting well, Julius Randle keeps playing like he's playing, I promise the opportunity for you to get one of those superstars will come around, or maybe you'll even draft one. We didn't think we were gonna get Booker with a 13th pick, and look what he's turned into. So
exactly. Sometimes things just fall in your lap.
Exactly.
They might not be looking for, but they might wake up one day. Such and such has requested a trade. He got the Knicks on the list. The value kind of shrinking a little bit, so they just throw it out there, see what they can get, and boom.
Yeah.
I had us up a little nice roster for the low. So
exactly.
You never know, man. You never know. All right, before we go, so what's your official final prediction? Suns and what?
I'm going to say Suns in 6. I think we take game 1 tonight. I think even though they've upgraded Giannis from doubtful to questionable, Giannis does not play tonight. I think he probably plays game 2, but I definitely say Suns take game 1 tonight, and we take the series in no more than 6 games. I don't want it to go 7, but definitely I think Suns in 6.
See, I could see it going either way, honestly. I could see y'all winning in 6 even if Giannis is healthy. But obviously, if you're not healthy, I think y'all winning in 6.
Yeah.
I can also see Giannis getting like maybe 78% of himself, and the Bucks taking it in 6. If he gets like maybe 2 to 3 competent games from both Chris and Drew together in a row, which seems to be like kind of scarce at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be a good one. I'm happy for whoever wins though. Chris Paul and them boys to their first ring. Giannis get his first ring if the Bucks win, so and we don't got no stupid like media narratives driving this finals.
None at all. Which is crazy. Like, and I was actually listening for a conspiracy theory earlier. Somebody said a conspiracy theory earlier. Usually after the conference finals, there's like a week in between the conference finals and the finals, and they were saying how it's only been like 3 or 4 days, and they're saying that they're pushing the narrative that they just want to go ahead and get the games going because there's not any wild narratives that people are pushing coming up into the finals. But yeah, I mean, I definitely love it. Love my team being this good, but I also just love a fresh and new finals matchup anyway.
Love it. And I tweeted yesterday, I said, it's the quietest the media has ever been before, like with a big game on the verge.
Facts.
And I ain't heard Stephen A. Smith shouting about nothing past like a couple of days. Nick Wright ain't been on my timeline about 2 weeks. It's quiet out there.
Nah, he's been very quiet for sure.
Well, I feel you. So Suns and 6. So we gonna see. All right, in the end, every show I do a top 5 segment. We'll ask you a couple questions and get your personal top 5s on it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ready? All right. First off, the generic basketball question. Get your 5 favorite players ever.
5 favorite players ever. I'm gonna take Steve Nash. I'm gonna take LeBron. I'm gonna take. Oh, that's tough. Steve Nash, LeBron. Definitely. I guess I'll throw Booker in there for right now. For my my current favorite guys. And actually, Indiana Paul George is one of my favorite players ever. And I mean, I guess technically still saying Paul George, but I'll take Paul George, and then the last guy I would say would be I'm gonna take. That's tough. Let me get. I was always a big. I don't know. That's tough. Let me get back to you on that 5th guy.
All right, let's do that too. All right, let me get your top 5 favorite artists right now.
Top 5 favorite artists. Right now I'm gonna take J. Cole, obviously, especially after his last album. Then I got Lil Baby. I got Moneybagg. I got I guess you can throw Rod Wave in there. And somebody who I feel like people are sleeping on right now. I'm trying to think of a sleeper right now. Definitely one of my favorite guys right now is Polo G. I take Polo G.
I heard Polo G, so I ain't peeped that though.
Yeah, Polo G for sure.
All right, the last one, since y'all boys be on the video game wave, we streaming. Let me get your 5 favorite games.
So I'm actually
any console.
Honestly, I'm not even a huge video game guy, but I would say I'm gonna go a little old school because I hadn't played. Honestly, I haven't had a game in like 2 years because my game got stolen. I just never bought another one because I was like, all right, I'm gonna get the PS5 when it come out, and I didn't think the PS5 was gonna be this hard to get when it came out. But definitely, so I would say. Definitely. Are we doing 2K as like NBA 2K as a franchise, or am I saying an individual 2K?
Individual one.
All right, so I'm gonna definitely say 2K16. Then I'm gonna take Mario Kart. I'm gonna take I guess Madden. You could throw Madden in there. Then Tekken 6. That was one of my favorite Tekkens. and then Mortal Kombat. Any Mortal Kombat, honestly. But yeah, I would say those are my top 5 games for sure. Did I say Mario Kart?
Yeah, you said Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart top tier. One of my favorite games all time.
Definitely. I mean, back in the day, like in middle school, we used to have you know how you could link up on a DS and play.
Yeah,
and we used to be on the bus going crazy on the Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I remember we used to go on field trips, bro.
Yeah.
Mario Kart tournaments going dumb.
The whole trip. Are you got that 5th player ready yet?
Part of me really wants to say Larry Bird, but I don't think that's even true. I don't think that's one of my favorite players. I'm much more of a lover of the game than individual players. So I'll say. So what did I give you at first? LeBron, Steve Nash. I know I said Booker,
Paul George,
and Paul George. Yeah, I guess I'll throw Larry Bird in there. Still one of my favorite players. Super skilled. I'm just a big fan of guys who are super skilled, got like that court vision, and not super athletic guys. Like I've always been a fan of guys like that.
I feel you. All right, brother. I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you for having me.
No problem. Good luck to y'all in the finals. And tell us who we can find Popular Demand and what days y'all drop.
Oh yeah, so definitely we kind of been lagging off as of late because we hadn't had as much content with music's been kind of dry. But definitely check us out at Podcast Demand on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure that's all social media platforms, but check us out there. Check us out on YouTube, Popular Demand Podcast, any streaming service that you listen to. Definitely check us out.
So appreciate it, though.
All right, bet.